Alright, I am at 6307 Cliffside Drive in Florence, Kentucky. We are doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, basically anything that would be concerning to the buyer. The access is the roof vent right now. Trying to get the camera lens cleared off enough. A little bit of debris on the front, and so you can see we are up on the roof of this place, and I try to go down through the stack. So I'm sure that there is an outside clean out somewhere, but we couldn't find one, and we were looking for, you know, some, based off the layout of the buildings, this could go all the way through the center and be shared eventually, or it could go out the back. It's just kind of hard to tell exactly where that clean out is, but there should be a floor clean out or an outside clean out somewhere. So, weird part is, it does look like it dives in two separate sections, and I'm using a smaller camera. Doesn't have any restrictions to it. It's just a little bit smaller diameter, and so the rod used to push it is a little bit harder to kind of get in long distances. So it looks like I just turned, went horizontal. You can see this is cast iron. There's a little bit of like washout, which is pretty normal at the base of these stacks. The water comes down with a lot of force and pressure, and so there tends to be a little more washout on these cast iron lines than you know, because of that. Because with cast iron you have a lot of rust. It's obviously normal. It's the nature of the material, and so you'll see a lot of this, like a little channeling at the bottom, not a ton, but the main thing with cast iron is that you do have like mineral deposit buildup on the bottom, stuff like that, and it is very rough, so we always recommend to not use any wet wipes, paper towels, you know, anything that's not supposed to go down the line. Wet wipes is a big thing because they can catch on the rough interior of these pipes, and so cast iron's a lot more, is known for having a lot more common soft clogs or backups due to like excessive toilet paper, or we just mentioned wet wipes. And you can kind of see how it creates this like flat bottom to the line. Now if you have access, you can get in there and do like a descaling, which is kind of like they run like a chain through there, and it basically brings the line back to the original shape. So somebody, it looks like they've been flushing the toilet, and so I believe that's during the home inspection. You can see the water was not above the camera until they flushed. And so let's see if we can get through this area. It looks like it's coming down directly right on top of the camera right now. It almost looks like it's coming at the camera, which is odd. Ooh. I want to at least be able to get to a point where I can hopefully find an outside clean out or something, or verify that it's beyond the edges of the unit. So I'm sure you can hear me there. It's hitting just the edge. You can see how the rust built up on the side there. I'm kind of having to push up a ramp, and so it just does not want to make that. I thought I got it for a second. Just does not want to go here. This would at least give me an opportunity to find, I think, what direction, a better place to look. getting very close. Got it. Just a little bit of perseverance. But, so far the line does look, you know, I mean, they always look ugly. It's cast iron. It does look like it's functioning normally. I mean, again, you could opt to kind of descale it, but you'd have to have access, and even with the flat bottoms that we saw earlier, it shouldn't obstruct flow at all. It's not causing any, you know, current issues or anything. It's just like to at least let people know that there is an option there. It looks like we're finally coming up on some PVC. Usually that means the change in material usually means it's leaving the building. So hopefully will also allow me to push the camera a little easier with the smooth bottom. So the weird thing is I have not seen any access as far as a cleaner. There should be. It's a little bit of a weird combo. Usually it's the opposite. Usually you have, at this age of building, most of the time what you have is a PVC on the interior, and then goes to like clay or something on the exterior. This is a weird, I think this was built in 1980. This was a weird transition time for materials. They were changing over a lot of it was interior cast iron going to clay outside, but at this point when they came out with the with PVC in the mid-70s, early to mid-70s, some people used them, some plumbers didn't trust it, that kind of stuff, which is fairly normal. So you come up on some weird combinations of materials here, because if they trusted the PVC on the exterior, that would have been all put in before they built the units. They would have put the mains and stuff in. And so the fact that they used PVC on the exterior and still used cast iron inside is kind of odd, but it all depends on the developer versus the builder. Like the developer would come in and put all the utilities in, the roads, blah, blah, blah. And then they would start building the units or the buildings, the houses, etc. And when they do that, you know, that's when they actually they'll leave a stubbed up lateral or connection point to the main, and then the builder comes in, builds the dwelling, and then runs a line out to connect to it. So it's kind of the plumber that did the interior work obviously preferred cast iron, and the developer was already started using PVC. So it's an over explanation, but just kind of a little note as to why it looks like this. So at any rate, we have made it all the way out to the main, and everything looked functional. I didn't see anything major structural issues or anything like that. I am going to pause the video here. We're going to try to see if we can stop the water running so that it drains down, and then I'm also going to locate the line to see where it comes out of the building, or roughly, so we might be able to find an access point for future use. So again, we're going to pause the video and get a locate. Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It looks like the Alright, so we do have individual laterals. This goes out the back and ties into the main. The main is probably, I don't know, 30 to 40 feet off the back, running parallel to the building. And so the line looks really good, especially the PVC here. And as we pull back, we'll obviously take another look. Hopefully a lot of those spots with the cast iron will drain down a little bit now. There's only a couple where it kind of went over top of the camera, but that camera lens is about maybe a ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe. And these are, 4-inch pipes. And so that little bit of water is not a concern, especially when you got it running, obviously. So what I'm trying to do now is make sure I can see any kind of access point, because that's what we want. I want to be able to see if there's any access points down here. It's very strange that there's not some clean out, especially the age of the building. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry. I'm saying uh-oh because it's starting to rain. So we may be in a situation where I'm trying to hurry this inspection up a little bit here. Good news is we've already inspected all this, and see, you got a little bit of low spot. Oh, man. So you do have some buildup in here, which is normal for the age. So like I said, you can choose. Some plumbers don't like them because with cast iron you can never tell how thin or thick the pipe walls are, and so sometimes risking it if it's not needed to do the descaling is not a good option, just because it, you don't want to break the pipe or injure the pipe. You don't want to hurt or damage the pipe. And so that little bit of water there is not an issue, like we mentioned. It's just barely above the camera lens. You can kind of see how it flashes at the top as I pull back and bounce. That means it's very little water. It just kind of washed out. And then what happens is it kind of washes out there, and then it builds up just past it. So it just creates a low spot, but the water has so much force coming down that's not an issue, just a little low spot in the line. So good news is the line is fully functional and working as designed. Now we couldn't go up every leg because there's no access to like the sink line. And so we can't get a full, you can't inspect that one leg from the bathroom or from the kitchen, but the rest of the lines, the main part of the lateral and everything look great. There were no structural issues, no root intrusion, nothing of any major concern, and so it is good to go. And so I'm going to cut this short here. Anything else will be in the report, but that'll end the inspection for 6307 Cliffside Drive in Florence, Kentucky.